I think we move on to
Let's do it.
Let's
get in.
Let's get into, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, of course.
think you know
Well,
what
of
this is
course,
all
everybody
about.
knows what we're talking about. Everybody knows.
The freaking Marvel Minute.
We got a format, baby. We got a
We
format.
got a format, baby. We got a stew going.
format
So
going.
we do have a stew going.
We do.
And so for this Marvel Minute, so I wanted to relate it to the topic at hand, right?
Of course.
To astrology.
Makes sense.
Before I finish my sentences, you're there. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
man, I got you.
Like even before I finish my
Sentences right there.
Wow. I'm glad you didn't say sandwiches. So we want to relate the Marvel Minute to astrology and to seeing the future, thinking of the future.
Right.
Yes. The past, the present, all of this, and what in the Marvel universe we were thinking can relate to this.
Now, what indeed?
What indeed? What did
Yeah.
we come up with?
So something that was really interesting to us. So we were
Yeah.
talking about how fortune tellers, they tell you these things, they give you an idea of events to come.
Sure.
And in the Marvel universe, this did happen during Marvel's Infinity War, the MCU movie Infinity War.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there's a moment where Doctor Strange looks through all possible future outcomes to figure out if they can actually beat Thanos.
We actually have, let's have the video playing and talk about it.
Yeah, so he looks through all possible future outcomes and he wants to see, is there a chance to win? And he comes up with, out of the
Oopsie.
thousands of different future outcomes he looked at, there was only one in which they beat him. And he relays this information to Stark.
Yes, he does.
Oh,
So
cool,
here
we do
go.
have it. There we go.
So we could start
There
here.
he is. Yeah, this is cool. I love how they show him looking through the future. There's all the shaking and stuff.
It's so cool.
Because he has the time stone. He
Yep.
has the ability to look into the future.
You back here.
Hey, what was that?
Yeah,
Forward
right.
Time. To view alternate futures. To see all the possible outcomes of the coming conflict.
And what did you come
I
up
love how
with?
dramatic.
605.
How many?
How many
4
women?
billion.
Woo,
605.
that's a lot.
Or is it million?
It's a million. So yeah.
Thanks
so,
to Skillshare for
Thanks
support.
to Skillshare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank y'all.
that's what's next. That's what makes sense next.
Anyway, so we thought, okay, if he's telling him that there is this one outcome in which they win,
Yeah.
how does that affect the decision making after you know that?
So it's like that time travel theory where
Right.
if I go back in time and I say, Jared, you're gonna die by
Yeah.
a train or by a car accident
On
on
April
September
20 yeah,
3rd.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And then so everything you do is gonna be to avoid dying by a car accident on September 3rd, right?
Right, because now you know.
So, but now that you know, does that affect and change? Do you make every decision to avoid that? Or were you always told that and now
Yeah.
you make every decision to lead to that car accident?
Right, makes
It's
sense.
crazy. Who knows? Who knows?
But we do see an example of how this affects Stark. Do we have a clip of that?
we sure do.
Oh, gee. Okay, so this is kind of the cause and effect here.
So we saw that happening. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm looking through all these futures. How many do we win? We win one.
Yeah.
So when they're fighting in the midst of a battle,
Yeah.
and Thanos is
Final battle end game.
snap away from taking out the entire universe, half the entire universe.
Yeah.
And so
Well, this time
has
he's
to
going
remind
for all of
Stark.
it, right? Because he wants to
Oh,
start a
this
new
time he
universe.
wants to.
Yeah.
You're right. This time he wants to wipe the slate
Yeah,
clean.
the stakes are
'Cause
even
he's
higher
like,
somehow.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He's like, because I realized those who remember what was will
Can never
never
be happy, yeah.
appreciate
They'll
what
never
is.
accept it.
Yeah. And so here's what happens.
Yeah.
In the midst of
Yeah.
battle, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
how are we going to freaking win this, dude? One way.
Yep. So
And that
is-
tells Stark everything he needs to know.
Yeah, because right before this scene, Stark says, "Is this the one? Is this the outcome that you saw where we went?" So my question is, if he doesn't show him that number one and give Stark the hint that this is that future where we can win, does Stark still make the
Sacrifice himself.
sacrifice?
It's a great question.
Does he? Did that actually cause him to make the sacrifice, allowing them to win, or what? Like what? How do you?
Can I pose a theory,
Please? Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
if I may?
Yeah.
So, what if not only was there other ways to save the universe,
Right. Yeah.
but what if Doctor Strange intentionally chose this one for a specific reason.
Oh, you mean he wanted Stark to sacrifice himself?
He needed Stark
He
to
needed
sacrifice
him
himself.
to. Okay, well, let's hear this
Let's
theory.
explain
I'm
why.
excited. Let's
So
explain.
here's why I believe Doctor Strange needed Tony Stark to sacrifice himself, as opposed to it being the only outcome for them to win.
Okay.
I think there was multiple outcomes, and this is the one they chose because he needed Tony to die.
Oh, no.
Because
Because they didn't get along and he didn't like
yeah, he just like, oh, this guy's a prick. He leaned
Right,
on the
Cosmos,
yeah,
Cauldron of the Cosmos.
Cauldron of the Cosmos.
Yeah.
And so he's like, screw this guy.
Right.
No, what I think happened was I think when, as we saw, Doctor Strange looks into the future,
Yeah.
sees all these multiple possibilities.
Yeah.
Several of them include Tony Stark, because he is the one who created, remember, let's see the reverse Mobius strip.
Right.
He created those time travel GPS things.
Yeah,
He
for
basically
sure.
solved time travel.
He solved time. He actually created a time travel device. You're right.
And
he
Doctor
is the
Strange
cause of that.
And Doctor Strange is the keeper of the time stone.
Right. That's true.
So time and stuff, that's their thing.
That's his domain. Okay.
That's his domain,
And
absolutely.
he's just meant to protect it.
Absolutely. So what I think could have occurred is he needed Tony to die because he saw in all these other dimensions and all these other realities, all these other timelines, that Stark sort of pulled off a Kang type of thing, where when he opened up the possibility for time travel,
Okay.
into alternate universes, right? He saw his variants, and Tony's variants. Not all of them were great. Some of them, maybe even like a
Wow.
Tom
We know there's
Cruise.
got to be some evil.
Of course.
Starks out there for
A
sure.
few things changes.
Yeah.
Let's say he sees one specific timeline where there is no Pepper Potts.
Oh, if Pepper died or something,
Yep.
he would do a
Pepper
full
gets killed by Ultron or
Superman,
something. Yeah.
What's that run where he kills everybody because she's
Injustice.
Dead? Injustice. He
a
would
whole
become
Superman
it would
Injustice.
be Iron Man Injustice.
but
yeah.
in Iron Man. Yeah, I like that. So he goes and he sees Pepper's dead in this universe.
Yeah.
Rhodey refuses to speak to Tony.
Oh yeah.
Tony is Tom Cruise in this universe, let's even say.
Okay.
The superior Iron Man. But he has lost a lot. He's pissed. He's angry. He's not the Tony we know, the
Okay,
Downey
yeah.
Tony.
He's
He's
like
not
a-
Robert Downey Jr.
yeah.
Tony Stark that we know and love from the MCU, from Earth 616.
Which is, I'm sure there's thousands of possibilities of
Absolutely.
that. So there are a
It's-
bunch of evil Tonys.
Yep.
Okay.
So-
with time travel capabilities.
So let's focus on this one. Let's
Okay.
say this one specifically is like, you know what? I need to conquer all the other timelines. And not only does he have the technology, like a Kang,
Yeah.
but he has the intelligence, right? And
Yep.
now with
and we know he's motivated this way. He wanted to put a suit of armor around the world.
Around the world.
Right? He wanted to
Ultron program.
Literally, yeah, create the Ultron program for this purpose, and that went sentient. And even after it did, he still kept making one, which became Vision, because
Yeah.
he was so driven and scared by the threat of Thanos coming down the road that
Yeah.
he was willing to sacrifice all civil freedoms.
Yep.
He was willing to put surveillance on everything and have robots patrolling
a
around the
suit
entire
of armor
world.
around
Yeah.
the world. I think Cap said it best. I think he's the one who said the line. Sounds like a cold world.
Right.
Maybe it was Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow. But anyway,
yeah.
so maybe it's like a Kang situation where he sees multiple timelines. He sees Tony as a villain, conquering timeline after timeline after timeline, trying to go back to one where Pepper's his girl and, whatever his motivation may
How
be.
would killing just this one though stop all the others from being?
So this is the one who
around?
created it, right? So this is the prime Tony.
Okay.
As we know.
That creates time
616 Tony
travel?
is the prime Tony who creates it. And then he just goes to another timeline and says,
Okay.
hey, Tony,
So you think he
912.
would? Not the other Starks didn't invent time travel. It was just this one, as Doctor Strange says. It's just this one
prime Tony.
that creates this for this reason, because in this timeline, this was the problem they had to solve. So that's why he creates the time travel.
And
So
then
the
he-
others didn't have the same problem.
Exactly.
That
And
makes
so
sense.
now Strange sees this. He's like, crud.
We
this
need him to
sucks.
die
I need
to
him
close
to
the
die."
loop. Okay.
How can that happen? How can I
Yeah.
kill two birds with one gauntlet? Make sure Tony's the one who snaps. All I got to do is hold up my finger, tell him there's only one way we can win.
Right.
Hold up my finger in the midst of battle.
And he would know that would work because he could
And he-
look into the future
he
and
saw
see it in the
future
past.
that
Yeah.
it worked. So he saw multiple timelines where it actually worked out for them, but he needed the one where Tony died because Tony would go and become sort of the Kang the Conqueror.
Cause the problem. Okay. Well, that's not a bad theory at all. And it's totally within Stark's mental.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's a good theory.
I came up with all by myself.
Oh no, that it really is cool. Yeah, and it's not like they were close. I don't think like Strange would have any hangups about.
I don't think so.
Losing a Tony,
Especially because he's the owner of the Time Stone and he has to time is his thing. I think that would be a big part. I think that would make a big part. Play a big role in his decision making process.
Holy crap, man!
Anyway.
I hope that's not what really happened, but it could have been.
It's a crazy.
It's
theory.
not a bad guess.
It's a crazy
For sure.
theory. But I say. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about that Marvel?
No, I'd
because
love
I know
to
these
know
people are chomping at the bit.
If anybody in the chat wants to, let us know what you think of that theory,
Yeah.
or let us know if you think Tony would have sacrificed himself anyway
Regardless.
if he didn't see the one, or if the one is the reason he sacrificed himself. If knowing the future caused him to change his action.
Because we know in general Tony, not as the opposite of what Cap said, he was not the guy to step on the wire or jump. He's not the guy to lay on the
wire,
what
let
is
the
it?
other guy crawl over you.
Yeah, exactly. So he is the guy that make the sacrifice play.
Yeah.
That's what he said specifically.
But going into this, he told Cap, "I need to keep what I have. I have a family now.
Get what we lost, sure, but I need to keep what I have."
Right, like saving the world and bringing people back wasn't as important to him as it was to all of
keeping what
them.
he has.
He had what he always wanted.
And like Pepper said it best, man. He's like, I could just throw all this in the lake right now, all this time travel stuff. She's like, but would you be able to rest? And absolutely, he would not be able to.
Yeah.
Because at heart, Tony is
He's a hero.
a true hero.
Yeah.
So
We
great
miss you,
theory,
man.
Cameron.
Good theory, yeah.
So it's fun. Anyway, I say we get into the meat of it.
We love you 3000. Oh, yes, we can get into the meat now. I know. I miss Tony Stark. I hope he comes back for Battle World. But good Marvel minute. I'll leave it
Absolutely.
there. Yeah.
To business.
To business.
3 men
No, there's no more of these, is there?
who believed in atrophy of the legs
Oh.
walked
Yeah.
into a bar.
Okay.
They see the bartender
Yeah.
and yell, "Sir, may I order a drink for me and my friends?"
Mm-hmm.
The bartender yells back, "But sir, you came in alone."
Oh, very interesting.
What did Sarah
Well
say? Here?
said. I think it's a good theory because it's almost unbelievable that there was only one possible timeline out of
Yes.
so many.
Thank you.
And they were actually able to align with it. 100%. That is weird. Out of 4 million different timelines,
604.
only one, and they're in that one.
Yeah.
And everything they've done has been leading up to this one. Like, it's true. It's
Thank you,
kind of
Sarah.
a silly notion.
Thank you, Sarah, for
And
getting
we
my back.
know this too.
what do
Kang
we
the
know?
Conqueror exists, He Who Remains exists during this time.
Oh, absolutely.
And
He
branch
allowed that to
timelines were
happen.
being clipped. So
Yeah.
this was always going to be what happened.
He allowed that
Right.
specific scenario to play out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why so?
Yeah, there's something there.
Maybe Tony was a threat to
Oh,
Kang?
for sure, he would have been a
Yeah,
threat if he would have
absolutely.
stayed alive.
Absolutely.
You don't want him around, time travel guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
See, we're adding to it.
Yeah, all he needed was his tech because that tech was probably the genesis or the basis of Kang's tech in the future. I'm sure that he took a little something from what Stark did.
Absolutely.
Because if you were, in a future where the world was saved by a guy who went back in time, and you knew this, the whole world knows
Yeah,
what
the
happened.
whole world knows.
You would know that not only time travel exists, but it's possible to create, and somebody with the genius of Kang would try to make it. Should that not happen, maybe he does something different. Maybe he goes in a different direction, and time travel's never created.
So Kang has that technology,
Yeah.
and Iron Man has great tech. And actually, the
Yeah.
next Marvel Minute, we're going to get into a little bit of Iron Man tech. So stay
Yay!
tuned.
I love
I think you
talking
guys are
Iron
going to
Man.
love the next Marvel Minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's
That's what I love.
it's one we put a lot of effort into, and
Oh,
it's going
yeah.
to be a lot of fun for you guys.
Lots of fun.
So the next Marvel Minute's going to be fun. But until next Tuesday,
Until then,
let's get to the meat of it, baby.
let's meet.
Hey guys, if you like that highlight for the full video, click right here.
And for related content, click right here.
And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Love you guys. Laters.